Yo, what's good, everybody? My name is Cosmic, and I want to welcome you to my channel, Opinion Stated, where I give unfiltered, opinionated sports takes. Let's go. Yo, what's good, everybody? My name is Cosmic. I want to welcome you back to my channel, Opinion Stated. And man, I have a great episode planned for you today. This is one that I've had in the works for quite a while now. I think that now is the perfect time to do it. We're at the start of a new year. Happy New Year to everybody who hasn't heard it from my mouth to your ears. If you've already seen the thumbnail, then you know exactly what direction I'm going into here. If you are a Michael Jordan fan, I think you'll absolutely love this episode. This episode might not be for those who are Michael Jordan haters or looking for me to compare Michael Jordan to anybody else, for me to tell you that Michael Jordan is better than your favorite player or your GOAT or what have you. If you're looking for a video where Michael Jordan is going to be crowned the GOAT, this is not the video for you. This is literally an appreciation post or episode for Michael Jordan, the best player, greatest player that I personally ever saw play the game with these two eyeballs, live and in the flesh, on television as well. The dude was just utterly incredible. But before we dive into the content, I want you to do me a huge favor. Like this video if you haven't done so already. Liking the video helps us cruise along Algorithm Avenue and helps us get into the presence of individuals such as yourself who are looking for this kind of content. Also, subscribe to the channel as well. We are approaching our 500th subscriber. I started this channel back in May. Man, the journey has been beautiful. It'll be great to continue this journey of opinionated sports takes, unfiltered opinionated sports takes with all of you. I just present data. I give an opinion on the data that I present or the facts that I present, and I go from there. You know what I mean? Fill my comment section with your opinion as well. I'm open to hear it. You know what I mean? As long as it sounds reasonable. I don't have to agree with your opinion like you don't have to agree with mine. Having said that, man, I'm excited. Today's episode, I am going to entitle Michael Jordan, Forever Immortal. Now, I've already told you what I'm not going to do in this video. I'm not going to crown Jordan or, you know what I mean, anoint Jordan God like Larry Bird did. You know what I'm saying? That's God disguised as Michael Jordan, he said, or can be quoted as saying. I'm not going to do that, but man, Michael Jordan was very, very close to a heavenly being, it seemed like. And you know what I mean? It might sound like blasphemy coming from me. But if you go back and listen to some of your favorite players talk about the first time that they saw him, I mean, they use phrasing like he had a glow around him. It was like looking at Jesus, etc. It ain't me. I'm just saying, man, the dude was phenomenal. So in this episode, what I really want to do is I want to just kind of detail, you know, some of the incredibleness of Michael Jordan. And as a fan, as a personal fan of Michael Jordan, I want to talk about why I just came to love Michael Jordan so much. You know what I mean? Like, not a Nike campaign, not because of him being overhyped. You know what I mean? Like most people would love to believe in their little feeble minds, but just because of what I experienced and how I experienced it, I kind of want to let that be the story or the storyline and direction for this episode. So without further ado, I want to talk about his collegiate excellence. So this brother, you know what I mean, obviously played for the University of North Carolina, the Tar Heels, coached by Dean Smith, came in heavily recruited after not being even picked for his high school varsity team as a sophomore, as a 10th grader. You know what I mean? He did make the varsity team. It's not really that big of a stretch. You know what I mean? Like that big of a deal. I think most of the time people love making a big deal out of it. You know what I mean? Which is like, it is what it is. I think I played junior varsity. I played junior varsity my 10th grade year. Played varsity my junior year, second year in high school. We won a championship. Played varsity also my senior year. So, I mean, that's like a normal trajectory. I never really heard anything strange, you know, when I heard it. But you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is, people. Man, hey, you know what I mean? Like, whatever your thought process is around, you know, how a player selected, you know what I mean? It is what it is. So before I get into his collegiate excellence, I just want to say one thing here. The purpose of this video is also not to encourage or entice anybody to become a Michael Jordan fan. I don't give a shit who you like. You know what I mean? Personally, I'm just sharing with you why I love Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? And how I that space I came to find myself in that space. But moving forward, again, attended the University of North Carolina from 1981 through 1984. Wore the number 23 as well. And so doing playing ball out there. 17.7 points a game was his average. 5 rebounds, 1.8 assists on 54% shooting from the field. You know what I mean? Like he was an incredible standout. So I was talking about his high school career and how, he wasn't picked for the team as a sophomore, junior year. He got picked for varsity. And between junior year and senior year, he become one of the most sought after high school recruits in the country. You know, understand what I'm saying? So that just spoke to, I feel like, his work ethic and his excellence. And he helped lead the Tar Heels to a NCAA championship in his rookie season, his freshman year at UNC. So that was in '82. In '82, he also was selected to be the ACC Rookie of the Year. So he won that award. Two-time Sporting News National Player of the Year in '83 and '84. Two-time Consensus First Team All-American in '83 and '84. Two-time First Team All-ACC in '83 and '84. He was in 1984 voted as the ACC player, selected as the ACC Player of the Year. 84, also the ACC Athlete of the Year, the Atlantic Coastal Conference's Athlete of the Year, the division or conference that Carolina plays their games in the NCAA. In '84, he was the Naismith and Wooden National College Player of the Year. His number 23 was retired by UNC, by North Carolina. He's a member of the ACC 50th anniversary men's basketball team, which he was inducted into in '02, and the North Carolina Sports Hall of Fame he was inducted into in 2010. So there are a host of other accolades and achievements that Jordan was able to compile as a basketball player while at North Carolina. I didn't list them all here. I'm just kind of picking through some of them and listing them, those that I feel like are most important to me. And yeah, it was just amazing to watch him in college. So I'll submit to you all that I was fairly young, in the early '80s, right? And I wasn't a Michael Jordan fan. I was a very young basketball, fan, just kind of watching as my uncles, my pops, etc., were taking in basketball games, and we would go as a family to Georgetown Hoya games. You know what I mean? Some Maryland U games, etc. By virtue of me living in DC and growing up in DC, and I wasn't a Jordan fan because, I mean, University of of Maryland, rather, man, had this incredible standout by the name of Len Bias, who was a homegrown talent for us. So we were all, man, Lenny was our guy. You know what I mean? So everybody was just bonkers about Len Bias back then, especially in DC, in the DC area. And so I wasn't a Michael Jordan fan. Unfortunately, you know what I mean? Glenn Bias would pass away, and Michael Jordan would go on to enter the NBA. But I got a chance to watch a lot of the Maryland, Carolina, those kind of battles between Glenn Bias and Michael Jordan, man, that were powerful. You know what I'm saying? So it was good. It was just some epic battles. You can go back and kind of YouTube, I think, if not full games, like some of the clips. You know what I mean? So I remember how heartbroken we were as a collective community in the DC area when Len Bias passed away. And but anyway, I was more Len Bias than Michael Jordan back then. And what he did while at UNC, man, is just, I mean, speaks for itself, right? The dude was incredible. You know what I mean? So that's how Michael Jordan kind of hit my radar. It was like, oh, it's Maryland U, you know what I mean? Or we were watching Georgetown games, we were like, yo, go Hoyas. But watching, Michael literally go head to head against Lynn in the ACC, and then watching him beat Patrick Ewing in Georgetown in the NCAA championship was like, man, it was like, it's like kind of double whammied us. And so I got a full exposure to, you know what I mean, like this young phenom that he as he would grow into be, and obviously as he would be selected to be from there. That championship created a monster. You know what I mean? That was the birth of a star. And Michael Jordan would go on, obviously, through all the accolades that I mentioned. I want to talk about his Olympic perfection. So he was selected to play in the Olympics on the Olympic select team. You know what I mean? As a kind of, I guess, still senior in high school. Actually, he had been drafted already. Yeah, so I guess he's like a budding, rookie. Hadn't played an actual NBA game yet. But this NBA select team, the teams were made up of just college players back in the day. And Jordan and a host of others, Patrick Ewing being one. I don't know the whole roster, for that young team. But this team was scheduled to play 8 exhibition games against NBA, a plethora of NBA talent to kind of prep them and warm them up for the Olympics. And in so doing, there was these 8 games. They finished 3 of the games, first 3 games. The young college kids, including Jordan, led by Michael Jordan, they won the first 3 of 8 exhibition games. You know what I mean? According to legend, or as legend will have it now, the NBA Players Association president, man, wasn't too thrilled by that. He was like, man, what the, bro, we getting embarrassed out here by some college kids. I mean, I know we want the best for them, clearly, and want them to go on to do great things in the Olympics. But we can't just have them out here embarrassing the NBA. And so after 3 games, they went out, grabbed Bird, Parrish, and some of the other notable figures around the NBA. Let's just say they didn't stop at Bird and Parrish. Isaiah, some of the others, Isaiah Thomas being some of the others, would eventually come at, become a part of, that those exhibition squads to go up against the young players on the USA team. And the USA team went 8-0 in all those exhibition games, beat the dog shit out of all those pros, whooped them good in front of a stadium packed full of people on national television, the whole nine. Man, they were true. And that was just kind of a prelude for them going on to eventually, win gold. Michael Jordan is a 4-time, I say, Olympic gold medalist, but in reality, he only won 2 gold medals in the Olympics, but he won 2 additional gold medals in international play, that being in the Pan American Games, and the Tournament of Americas. So Pan American Games in '83 and '84, he won a gold medal rather in the Olympics in Los Angeles. '92 Tournament of Americas in '92. I'm sorry, '92. Yeah, Tournament of Americas in '92 and Barcelona, the Olympics in '92. 2-time USA Basketball Male Athlete of the Year in '83, '84. United States Olympic Hall of Fame inductee, and a 2-time FIBA Hall of Famer, inducted in 2015 and 2017. One for his personal play, and also for his, being a member of the famed Dream Team, the greatest Olympic team, man, to ever be assembled. No Olympic team since, has been better, and none before them. You know what I mean? Like, hands down, the best Olympic team ever, and the numbers speak for themselves. You know what I mean? Like, margin of victory, the whole nine, undefeated as well. The guys were just the truth. So a 30-0 record, you know what I mean, for Michael Jordan in Olympic play. I mean, even that dream team, when they were selected to go over and finally level the playing field in terms of professionals from the international stage playing against college kids, the U.S. is like, let's send the best of our best out there, and let's really show them what we got. And so, you know what I mean, they grabbed Jordan and Magic and John Stockton and, you know what I mean, the Barkley and Pippen and Karl Malone and like everybody who ended up playing for that team, and David Robinson and Patrick Bird, Chris Mullen, and I'm just like Clyde Drexler. I'm just like thinking of the players. Now just like ringing in my head. Christian Laettner, even, who was a standout at Duke at the time, or entered the league, or maybe he was still at Duke because they selected one college player back then. But anyway, the team was so good, man, and the awe that the world, showed them, and respect that the world had for them was next level. I mean, from like players wanting to take pictures with them because they knew just like that how much that would mean to their kids and their families, etc. It was crazy. I mean, like literally players sitting on the sidelines in uniform taking pictures of the team, wanted to take pictures with them before and after the games. It was crazy. But yeah, they certainly went out and put on a show, and Jordan certainly, you know what I mean, was the most gargantuan of all the figures there. He did not lead that team in scoring, little known fact. Through that summer, Barkley did actually. Jordan was second in scoring, but it wasn't about his individual play. Is not, you know, kind of what I'm speaking more to here. It's the accolades, it's the things that kind of piled up, and it's how he handled his celebrity on a global stage. I think that was just, man, it was like, wow, you know what I mean? So 30-0 for that young man throughout his career in Olympic play. Speaking of young, I want to talk about Jordan being a young phenom, young NBA phenom. He walked into this league riding, obviously, the hype from college, the hype from the Olympics. And folks are like, man, this kid might be, he might be the truth. But, you know what I mean? Like from what has happened so far, but he ain't stepped in this league yet and played an NBA minute when we ain't going for that. And well, what happened subsequently is that Jordan in his rookie season averaged 28.2 points a game on 51% shooting from the field. So brother knocked down better than half of the jump or the shots that he took, and was voted in as rookie of the year that year as well. But 28.2 points as a rookie is, I don't even have to tell you how crazy that is. To walk into a professional league and average 28 points is crazy, bro. He was voted an all-star as well as a rookie, all-star starter as a rookie, which was unprecedented for the times. Led the Bulls to the playoffs as a rookie. Led the Bulls to the playoffs as a rookie. They hadn't made the playoffs 4 seasons prior. Jordan comes in, helps them to turn that thing around. I believe they won like 20 some odd, 27, 28 more games that year because of Jordan than they had won in the previous year. Voted NBA Rookie of the Year, as I said. Suffered a broken bone, would he, as a young phenom after that first year. So coming back, you know what I mean, second season, he broke a bone in his foot 3 games into the season, and it kind of derailed him a little bit, but returned just in time to assist the Bulls in making the playoffs and making a really decent playoff push. And year 3, as notable, he averaged 37.1 points per game by his third season in the NBA on 48% shooting. 37 points a game he averaged. 37 points a game he averaged. That was 9 points higher than the closest person to him in terms of points per game averages in that era or at that time. 9 points more. That's the equivalent of what he averaged as a rookie at 28.2 and then 37.1 by his third year. So just wanted to kind of highlight that again. Just not saying anything other than what I just said, to let the numbers speak for themselves. Number 3 overall draft pick he was. Drafted number 3 overall by the Bulls, which is notable. Hakeem Olajuwon, Phi Slamma Jamma. He and Clyde Drexler were teammates in Houston, in college, and man, Hakeem Olajuwon was an animal. You know what I mean? Like even coming out of college, but in that era, it was commonly believed that you build a team based on Wilt having, come through the league, based on Kareem being a present force in the league, based on, you know what I mean, like just being historically a inside outside game. Everybody had the notion based on the past and based on the formula that had been laid from previous championship teams, the Bill Waltons, the Bill Russells, etc. That, man, you build a team based on the big man, and then you just put pieces around him. And so Hakeem Olajuwon was drafted first. I'm not even saying that he wasn't worthy of being drafted first, like he wasn't good enough. Hakeem was a beast. Number 2, that number 2 pick was the Portland Trailblazers, who are still to this day, I believe, probably the laughing stock of all drafts. They drafted Sam Bowie number 2, but he was a big, so I just explained that's kind of what people were doing back then. They drafted Sam Bowie number 2. Definitely was not better than the guy drafted number 3, which was Michael Jordan. Wasn't better than Jordan at the time, nor was he better than Jordan, obviously, in the league. But I wanted to highlight that just to say, shout out to Sam Bowie. I'm not here to drag him either. Um, but I wanted to point out here in this graphic kind of what statistically, Jordan was able to do as a young phenom in the league. I kind of brushed on some of it. But in the 84-85 season, he averaged 28.2 points per game, 6.5 rebounds, 5.9 assists, and 2.4 steals on 51.5% shooting from the field. So, man, the dude as a rookie, man, that's a solid stat line for a rookie, bro. 28 point. I mean, for not even just a rookie, that's a solid stat line for a vet. But a rookie having a 28.2 per game average with 6.5 rebounds, 5.9 assists. Just go ahead and round it up to 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 2.4 steals, bro. It's crazy work. This dude came into the league ready, you know what I mean, after 3 seasons at UNC. And he came in giving these people the blues, man, off top. Again, helped to lead that team to the Bulls, being the Bulls to the playoffs that year. 86, Jordan averaged 22.7 points a game, 3.6 rebounds, 2.9 assists, 2.1 steals on 45.7% shooting. But remember, I said he will break a bone in his foot in 3 games into the season. I believe he missed like 65 games or something like that. So he came back just in time to help them win a few crucial, critical games that got them into the playoffs. So his numbers were a little bit lower, but they picked right back up. Obviously by 87, man, he was stronger, he was better, he was ready, and he walked into the league, man, and gave the league everything that he had. 37.1 points a game that year, 5.2 rebounds, 4.6 assists, 2.9 steals. I'm sorry, 4.6 assists, 2.9 steals. And that was on 48.2% shooting from the field. So nearly 50% shooting from the field. In that season, where he averaged 37.1 points a game, he was the only, or became only, the second player in history, won't being the other player, to score over 3,000 points in a single season. So he and Wilt Chamberlain shared that distinct marker, in the record books. But Jordan became the first player to record 200 steals and 100 blocks in a season. He became the first and only player to ever record 200 steals and 100 blocks. And then to prove that it wasn't a fluke, the very next season, he did it again. So I fell in love with Michael Jordan as a basketball player, man, because this dude literally embodied a basketball player. He played the game at a high, or the highest level, at the highest level, on both sides of the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like both sides of the ball, on the offensive side and the defensive side. Imagine a person coming down, man, giving you the business on offense, and then they coming to shut you down on the other side. You know what I mean? As a defender now, and that's how we were raised to play ball. So I don't understand, like, really how laxed, and how these players today can be so lax. Being, I, I mean, mediocre on defense. It's really weird. It's a really weird thing to observe, because for us, even if we didn't play defense, we wouldn't be left on the floor. You know what I'm saying? Somebody on the bench was waiting to come in there and play hard defense, because the hustle sometimes was better than your ability if you would just get out there and hustle. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, went off on a little tangent, but back to the stats. In 1988, the 87-88 season, Jordan averaged 35 points a game, 5.5 rebounds, 5.9 assists, 3.2 steals on 53.5% shooting from the field. So 35 points a game, well over 53% shooting from the field, or over 50% from the field, rather. And the 88-89 season, he averaged 32.5 points a game, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, 2.9 steals on nearly 54% shooting from the field. 1990, 33.6 points per game on 6.9, with 6.9 rebounds, rather, 6.3 assists, 2.8 steals, and 52.6% shooting from the field. I really wanted to kind of go through these and just like put them out there. And they're so, I mean, it just keeps getting better after the year 90, because that's when they began to win championships. In 87, the 86-87 season was the first time that he'd win the scoring title, right? And that was just the first of 10 consecutive years while he was playing that he won the scoring title, meaning led the league in scoring. And his numbers, again, just look stellar, clear across the board. You can go back. I checked basketballreference.com or something like that if you guys don't believe me, if you haven't looked it up. But man, his numbers were phenomenal. And this is the kind of thing that made basketball fans fall head over heels, you know what I mean, for this dude here. Next up, I want to talk about, how Jordan humbly paid his dues. It's easy to get excited about a player when they're just doing all the razzle dazzle and you know what I mean? Like, oh my God, it's amazing. He's just giving us like all this glitz and this glamour and the hype machine is pushing him out there as being like, you know what I mean, the person. But it was bigger than that. What we saw with the eye test, we believed because we saw it. The numbers only validated it, but we actually did get a chance to watch him pay his dues, even though he was an incredible and leagues above the other talented stars in the league. He was clearly head and shoulders above all of them, but he didn't have the team in place that would help him defeat them for the ultimate prize, which was a championship. The ultimate prize in basketball is the championship. It's the only thing at the end of the season that really, really matters. It's the only thing. It's like, what else are we playing for? If we ain't playing for championships. Keep your fucking MVPs. Keep your scoring titles. Keep them all. Give me a ring. This is a thing that's become like so heavily pushed out there. So I hear the rhetoric now. It's like ring culture, ring culture. It's like ring culture. It's always been about the ring. It's always about hoisting up that trophy at the end of the year. Who has the bragging rights to call themselves champion and then go into the next season defending champion? But we got a chance to watch Jordan lose. We got a chance to watch him lose, and man, losing Bill's character. Losing Bill's character. I feel like you really don't know a person until you watch them go through something or you go through something with them. You know what I mean? So as fans, we went through the losing with him. I can understand, you know what I mean, how fans and fandom works and how fans become zealots because you go through the losses with the players. I get it. Trust me, I get it. That's why I don't fan the way that I used to. You know what I mean? I don't have that energy towards sports anymore. I enjoy it more just kind of being, as my man Jermaine would say, Switzerland. I just get a chance to just kind of take a step back and just enjoy the sports for being the sports and enjoy the athletes for being athletes without being like, my team needs to win, my team. You know what I mean? But we got a chance to see Jordan lose, and it was a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful thing to watch him take his lumps. And boy, did he take some lumps. Boy, did he take some lumps. So as I said, he got his team to the playoffs as a rookie in the 84-85 season. Bucks would beat them 3-1 in the first round. 85-86, we watched Jordan get swept 3-0 in the first round by the Boston Celtics, the league leading Boston Celtics, the league best Boston Celtics, the dynasty legacy super stacked team Boston Celtics back then. Bird, Mikal, Parrish, those guys, DJ, you know what I mean, Ainge, those guys were incredible. But we watched them lose in the first round 2 consecutive years, actually 85-86 and 86-87, swept in the first round. So for his first 3 seasons in the league where he helped his team get to the playoffs, man, they couldn't even get out of the first round. You know what I mean? And that was kind of to be expected. It's like, all right, I mean, we get it. You know what I mean? We've seen this movie before. You got to pay your dues. He'll get there at some point, and you'll need a few more players. 87, in that draft is when they brought in Scotty and Horace Grant. Because of that, and because of the team taking their lumps and getting better, in the 86, 87, 88 season, I'm sorry, they would lose to the Pistons in the Eastern Conference semifinal. So they finally made it out of the first round, but they lost in the Eastern Conference semis to the Pistons 3-2. In the 88-89 season, they come back, and the Pistons would beat them in the Eastern Conference Finals 4-2. And then coming back in the 89-90 season, the Pistons will whoop their ass again, this time in 7 games. So we're getting a little bit closer in the Eastern Conference Finals, but they lost to the Pistons in 7. And so again, there's this different level of appreciation that I gained from Jordan personally, watching him lose, man, watching his character as a person that lost. You know what I mean? Watching him in the interviews, listening to him afterwards in the press conferences, just talk about Detroit, man. They were just a better team, you know what I mean? And we got to get better. We still have to improve. You know what I mean? Like saying those kinds of things and meaning it and being able to tell that he actually meant it, right? It wasn't just some shit he was saying. He actually meant what he was saying. And so it was just beautiful to experience, his character as he lost and took his lumps along the way. And man, would he have his time. Because after the losing, man, comes the winning. If you're hanging there long enough, man, the wins will come. The wins will come because losing is a part of winning. Losing is a part of winning. I know I'm missing some of you who out there, no, I'm a winner. Oh, you've always won at everything your entire life. Fuck you. It's not real. You cannot win at everything. You must because you learn through losing. And Shaq told a story about how when they lost after Jordan came back, for the second three-peat season, when Jordan came back and swept the Orlando Magic, the Bulls swept the Orlando Magic. He said that Jordan pulled him aside right there after the game was over and said, in order to become a great winner, you must first learn to lose. You have to learn to lose. You have to learn through the losses before you can become a great winner. You don't just get there just because you got there. You got to learn. You must learn. And this man sure did, bro. In his career, Jordan averaged 30.1 points per game in the regular season. In the playoffs, 33.4 points a game. Those two are still, number one in league history, the highest in league history. 10-time NBA scoring leader. I can't highlight all of his accolades because we'd be here all day. But I just chose some that were kind of a big deal to me, right? So 10-time NBA scoring leader, 9-time all-defensive first team selections, 6-time NBA champion in 91, 92, 93, 1 3-peat, 96, 97, and 98. 2 3-peats. 6-time NBA Finals MVP in those same years of the 6 championships. 5-time NBA Most Valuable Player in 88, 91, 92, 96, and 98. 3-time NBA Steals Leader, 88, 90, and 93. 2 times Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Famer, 1 for the NBA, and again, 1 for being a famed member of the Dream Team, both inducted in 09 and 2010. Defensive Player of the Year award he won in 1988. He, or rather, had the MVP, the NBA's MVP award named in his honor a couple years ago in 2022. And again, I say 2 3-peats, man. That's just a big deal. It's not just about winning the championships; it's how he was able to string them together. You know what I mean? Like, so prior to them winning their first three-peat or finishing their first three-peat, Bird, I believe Magic, they won consecutive titles. I know for certain Detroit won consecutive championships, back-to-back, 2, back-to-back, consecutive. But they never won 3. None of them were able to string together 3. And so it had been 27 years since Boston did it. I think only Mikan and George Mikan with the Minneapolis Lakers and Bill Russell, Bill Russell's Celtics were able to do that. I think they won 8 straight or something. They 8-peated or something ridiculous in that era. But they were the only 2 to actually do it prior to Jordan. So it had been 27 years until Jordan's Bulls would 3-peat. And they did it. And it was incredible to watch. It was incredible to watch him take his lumps. And then it was incredible to watch him become a winner. And then once he got on that mountain for winning, he wouldn't let a motherfucker up there. He was beating everybody head in. And it was dope to watch because we watched him take his bumps and his bruises, man. And so it was great to see him win. It was great to see him make history as he won also, winning that first three-peat. His dad unfortunately passed away. And then Jordan would go into retirement and decide to go and play basketball, to chase a childhood dream because his dad really was a bigger fan of baseball and a bigger fan of he as a baseball player. And so he decided to go off and, chase a childhood dream and play baseball, and it didn't work out for him. And quite frankly, I'm fucking glad it didn't work out for him. It's not that he was bad. He wasn't a horrible baseball player. He was decent. But, you know what I mean? He was no star by a long stretch, but he was a decent baseball player. Go back and look at the numbers. He was a decent baseball player. And but anyway, I was happy that he decided to come back to his first love, man. So and the whole world took a collective sigh of relief and hooray when he decided to come back. So to watch him come back, 17 games remaining in the season, I believe it was, and then, to lose to Orlando, but then get his body and his mind right, for the game, come back and rip off championship after championship after championship again. It was dope. So I know a lot of people like to overlook, like, oh yeah, y'all don't like to talk about the year that he came back and he still lost. Y'all don't like to talk about that. Like, I don't mind talking about it because I watched him lose before. So I know what it's about. It's cool. I get it. You can't win every game. You can't win every series. You're not supposed to. Except he won all the final series, the ones that count. So you're gonna take some lumps. But when it's time to win, man, are you a winner or are you a loser? I just want to say in closing, like, honestly, I feel like there are a lot of players who get up. Obviously we hear the stories of Jordan, and how people tell of him making up things. You know what I mean? To have some kind of a animosity or chip on his shoulder about this player. It's just something about me in the newspaper when the player didn't really say anything, but he's just looking for sort of that edge. You know what I mean? That thing that would just spark him and just make him want to just rip, the team limb from limb that he was facing with a player who was guarding him. Those are really cute stories. But I honestly, in observation of Michael Jordan, I feel like, and especially as an athlete myself, and you know what I mean, a person who just loves nothing more than competing. Still, I'm still like a huge competitor, even at this age. But I honestly feel like I've never seen anybody like, compete like Michael Jordan. And so it is just my opinion based on what I observed. I don't think his challenge and the thing that drives him as a competitor, or the thing that drove him as a competitor, I don't think it was other players. I think it was the moments. I think he wanted to fuck beating the Joker in front. He knew Barkley couldn't fuck with him. He knew, fuck them. I think he wanted to beat the moment. He wanted to rise to the occasion. That's why he wouldn't shrink in moments where, you know what I mean, it's one shot for the game. I got to hit these two clutch free throws to get us either to overtime or to get us over the top. I think he won. I think he reveled in beating the moment, yo. And I've never experienced that prior to watching this dude just continue to conquer moments. It was a blessing to watch. So, as a Michael Jordan fan, I just wanted to do this episode again to celebrate him. Notice that I did not compare him to anybody. I don't care about comparing him to anybody. Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player that I ever saw. Lace him up, put him on, and go out there and play basketball, bro. The dude's, quite frankly, immortal. So that's been the basis of this episode. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Please like the video if you haven't done so already. Subscribe to the channel as well. I have some other incredible content, I promise you, coming up. It's been a joy. I will catch you guys in the next episode. Until then, take care of yourselves. Blessings.